Yo, what is up, everybody? What's up, guys? How we doing? We are live. We are live for FOMC. Hopefully everybody's doing good so far. Let's get into it. What's good, YouTube? What's good, chat? Who we got? Zombie in the chat. What's up? What's up? It's been a rough day. Sorry to hear that, man. I'm down as well. If you'll notice at the top left, we're down. Yo, what's good, guys? Night. Welcome back. No foul. We'll also be live tonight, guys, but we got about an hour and a half stream. Figured I would do a little stream here. Why not? Everybody's having a bad trading day, man. Yeah, that sucks. Honey saw the Instagram story. Yep. You'll see. I'm still locked out from that, as a matter of fact. Yeah, we got long chat. Just to do a little recap. We'll hear about what everybody did today. But to do a little recap of what I did today. I didn't do anything wrong. Just a couple paper cuts, but dude, this was the big one. Let's look at this. Everybody joining in, man. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Okay, so this is what I did, man. I built a position of 6 minutos, big ones. Around the 8. I think my average ended up being about 8.14. So like right. But I was in it before, like I was in it, and then we saw like I was in it here. Like here. And then I had my stop loss right here at 8.12, bro. Actually, no, it might have been 8.13. My average might have been 8.16. I think that's what happened. It was $200 a risk. I had built into it like while it was green, so it was very manageable. And then, dude, it took me out, and then it went 100 points. Anyways, that's what happened to me. That was just rough, bro. I put it on my Instagram story. I was like, there's no way. And I hit the lockout button, so I'm locked out. I am locked out for about 4 minutes. Yo, what's good, Genuine? How you doing, bro? Yeah, that was fun last night. Yep. Yeah, that was tough, but hey, whatever. We got 4 minutes until we're unlocked. Did the rate decision already come out or no? Let's see. Not yet. Okay, so no rate cut, and then they go live here at 3 minutes. So I guess we can pull that up. We can do this probably. Y'all see the new discount that Top Step's doing? All right, we're about to get unlocked here. We'll see what we can do. How much the discount? It's like $27 off. I don't know. What discount? Chat. Slight discount. It's like a 10% discount, I guess. Only for the no activation fee path. right, we're about to be unlocked. Y'all want to see what happened on the trade copier today? Let's take a look at that. Let's minimize this until something cool happens. Powell's old news, dude. Powell's old news. There's more going on. We're at war. All right. These 160s, I passed to my funded futures accounts. This take profit trader account's about 3K away from getting passed. These lucid accounts are literally just like they're within reach, bro. $1,000, $1,000. And then Apex. These daily loss limit Apex accounts are rough. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, here we go. Hold on a second, chat. Bro's up.
And inflation remains somewhat elevated. Today, the FOMC decided to leave our policy rate unchanged. We see the current stance of monetary policy as appropriate to promote progress toward our maximum employment and 2% inflation goals. The implications of developments in the Middle East for the U.S. economy are uncertain. We will remain attentive to risks to both sides of our dual mandate. And I'll have more to say about monetary policy after briefly reviewing economic developments. Available indicators suggest that economic activity has been expanding at a solid pace. Consumer spending has been resilient, and business fixed investment has continued to expand. In contrast, activity in the housing sector has remained weak. In our summary of economic projections, the median participant projects that real GDP will rise 2.4% this year and 2.3% next year, somewhat stronger than projected in December. In the labor market, the unemployment rate was 4.4% in February and has changed little since late last summer. Job gains have remained low.
Bro, does anybody even care about this?
Part of the slowing in the pace of job growth over the past year reflects a decline in the growth of the labor force.
I mean, we are at war after all.
Immigration and labor force participation, though labor demand has clearly softened as well. Other indicators, including job openings, layoffs, hiring, and nominal wage growth, generally show little change in recent months. In our SEP, the median projection of the unemployment rate is 4.4% at the end of this year and edges down thereafter. Inflation has eased significantly from its highs in mid-2022, but remains somewhat elevated relative to our 2% longer-run goal. Estimates based on the Consumer Price Index and other data indicate that total PCE prices rose 2.8% over the 12 months ending in February, and that excluding the volatile food and energy categories, core PCE prices rose 3.0%. These elevated readings largely reflect inflation in the goods sector, which has been boosted by the effects of tariffs. Near-term measures of inflation expectations have risen in recent weeks, likely reflecting the
we got new lows coming up on NQ, bro.
Caused by the supply
they don't like
in
it.
The Middle East. Most measures of longer-term expectations remain consistent with our 2% inflation goal.
That's why you down 1,400.
The median projection in the SEP for total
Funny.
PCE inflation this year is 2.7% and 2.2% next year, a bit higher than projected in December. Our monetary policy actions are guided by our dual mandate to promote maximum employment and stable prices for the American people. At today's meeting, the committee decided to maintain the target range for the federal funds rate at 3.5 to 3.75%. From last September through December, we lowered our policy rate 0.75 percentage point.
Crude with a nice bounce back off that 94 move.
Estimates of neutral. This normalization of our policy stance
we have an hour and a half till close.
Continue to help stabilize the labor market while allowing inflation to resume its downward trend toward 2%.
People focus on NQ.
But the implications of events in the Middle East for the U.S. economy are uncertain. In the near term, higher energy prices will push up overall inflation, but it is too soon to know the scope and duration of the potential effects on the economy. We will continue to.
I would be baffled we don't break lows here. This just getting
killed. We are well positioned to determine the extent and timing of additional adjustments to our policy rate based on the incoming data, the evolving
And there goes low a
and the
day,
balance of
like
risks.
butter.
In our SEP, FOMC participants wrote down their individual assessments of an appropriate path of the federal funds rate under
Like
what each
butter, low a
participant
day.
judges to be the most likely scenario for the economy. The median participant projects that the appropriate level of the federal funds rate will be 3.4% at the end of this year and 3.1% at the end of next year, unchanged from December. As is always the case, these individual forecasts are subject to uncertainty, and they are not a committee plan or decision. Monetary policy is not on a preset course, and we'll make our decisions on a meeting-by-meeting basis. To conclude, the Fed has been assigned two goals for monetary policy: maximum employment and stable prices. We remain committed to supporting maximum employment, bringing inflation sustainably to our 2% goal, and keeping longer-term inflation expectations well anchored. Our success in delivering on these goals matters to all Americans. We at the Fed will continue to do our jobs with objectivity, integrity, and a deep commitment to serve the American people. Thank you, and I look forward to your questions.
Thank you. Colby Smith of the New York Times. There's been some debate about whether the Fed should look through the inflation that will come from higher oil prices stemming from the
guy's name.
Middle East conflict. Is that the right approach at this juncture? And to what extent does the fact that inflation has been above target for roughly 5 years now influence the committee's thinking around this?
So, first, let me say we're well aware of the performance of inflation over the last few years and how a series of shocks have interrupted progress that we've made over time. And that happened most recently with tariffs, and now there will be some effects on inflation coming forward. The thing that's really important that we see this year is progress on inflation through a reduction in goods inflation as the one-time effects on prices of tariffs go through the system, go through the economy. That's the main thing we're looking for going into this exercise. And we need to be seeing that to sort of understand that we actually are making progress, because on net we didn't make progress. And if you look at total core inflation.
LG said, we'd love to hear your thoughts on Top Step's new XFA option. Seems like a good idea, only needing 3 days instead of 5. Yeah, what's the exception? Like you have to have a consistency rule? I don't think that's bad at all. One option is no consistency, the other is like 40% consistency, I believe. Yeah, I would take the 3-day. That's pretty cool.
On inflation expectations remaining well anchored, and I think now it's also dependent on what you mentioned, which is that broader context of 5 years things in mind, and the question of looking through when it does arise will be one to approach not lightly, but in the context that you mentioned.
And just on the SEP, can you help us make sense of why there is still a bias to cut for most officials this year, despite the upward revision to headline and core inflation and the essentially unchanged forecast for growth and employment? I'm just curious, kind of what's the genesis behind the need? What's the need for the cut?
Yeah, so 19 reasons, 19 individual submissions, and if you notice, the median didn't change, but there was actually some movement toward.
Bro, I can't hear anymore.
A meaningful amount
The
of
heck?
movement toward fewer cuts by people. So 4 or 5 people went from 2 to 1, let's say, 2 cuts to 1 cut. Forecast is that progress on inflation, it should come as we start to see in the middle of the year.
Can barely
progress
hear
on
me. What?
Tariffs, going through
You're
once
capping.
and then tariff inflation coming down. We should be seeing that. And the rate forecast is conditional on the performance of the economy. So if we don't see that progress, then you won't see the rate cut.
I don't know. I can't hear the video anymore, which is annoying. But y'all, it seems like y'all can, but I can't.
Is the higher inflation penciled in here for 2026?
I can't hear this video. I don't know why.
Result of the oil shock or something else?
So that's going to be part of it. But, that wouldn't be most of core, right? So the oil shock for sure shows up here. Some of that will be in core. The feeling that we haven't seen, the progress that we had hoped for.
Where's the audio coming
on
from?
core goods, and on tariffs and on the rest of it. We've
Bruh, I cannot hear
for whatever
this.
reason, people did write up their inflation forecast. That will certainly be tied to events in the Middle East and the price of oil, but it's also, I think, a reflection of the slow progress we've seen on tariffs, which we believe we will see. It's a question of how long it takes.
Pass through, or more out of concern that there is a potential blow
I can't hear the damn video
to
chat.
consumption and growth coming in the form of wealth effects with the stock.
Maybe let me disconnect and reconnect it.
Form of gas price and wealth effects as well. I guess I'm wondering, is the rate forecast not changing because you think the oil shock is going to be temporary, or because you want to be sure
You got this, bro. You'll figure it out. Appreciate it.
So the thing I really
Hopefully.
want to emphasize is that nobody knows. The economics effect could be bigger, they could be smaller, they could be much smaller or much bigger. We just don't know. So people are writing down something that seems to make sense to them, but have no conviction. To your point, if we have high
Speaker. Yeah, no, it's like the speaker's on.
period of much higher gas prices, that's going to weigh on consumption.
It's all
That'll weigh on
selected.
disposable personal income, and it'll weigh on consumption. But we don't know if that's going to happen. Something quite different than that. We might have much lower than expected pass-through. So people write down, this is one of those SEPs where a number of people mentioned if we were ever going to skip an SEP, this would be a good one, because we just don't know. So I wouldn't say there's a conviction that this is going to go through quickly or not quickly. It's just you got to write something down, and this is something that is that people wrote down.
Oh, well. I mean, y'all can hear him, right? Whatever.
So,
Oh, wait, now it's working.
We don't debate how long. How do you do that? We wouldn't be able to debate what
It's working now. All right,
the
cool.
size of these effects would be. We just have to kind of make an individual statement, and also, what you've written down before you'll be reluctant to move too far away from that, just because you don't know. It's so unclear what the direction from this particular end will be. Meanwhile, the growth has been solid, and inflation, the overshoot is mainly from the goods and tariffs. And, the labor market is...
Yeah, it's a live account, Humble.
Unemployment rate, of course, is little changed since September. You have a very, very low break-even rate, apparently, for new jobs, with little growth in either demand or supply. But the U.S. economy is doing pretty well. It's just we don't know what the
Pretty
effects
well.
of this will be, and really no one does.
Steve.
Mr. Chair, in the past, the staff has suggested that higher oil prices, they have a hit to consumption, which Howard was talking about, but that's somewhat offset by increases to domestic production. I wonder if you could talk about that dynamic, especially to the extent that how much U.S. production is happening right now.
So the first thing is there is, the original thinking, the long-standing thing, to put it that way, is that you do look through energy shocks. But as I mentioned, that's conditioned on inflation expectations and that kind of thing. So, sorry, your question was?
What the staff is saying about, and has said in the past,
yeah.
about
So there'll be an offset.
Offsets, yeah.
So that's true. We have we're a net exporter of energy, right? So any effects on employment and economic activity and spending would be offset to some extent by the fact that our oil companies will be more profitable, and they may even do more drilling. If you ask oil companies about doing more drilling, though, they're going to want to see, a consistent rise in oil prices from where they were before the buildup for the war, and they're going to want to believe that that's going to be persistent for a fairly long time. So they're not sitting there waiting for oil to go over $70 a barrel, and then they're going to start drilling or whatever. They're going to make a reasoned, careful judgment that we're going to have higher oil prices for an extended period, meaningfully higher. So I wouldn't say there's much of that happening. Not much will be happening now, but some of that could happen over time if you see that. But So the net of the oil shock will still be some downward pressure on spending and employment and upward pressure on inflation, of course.
And if I could just follow up on Colby's question, how much do you worry that having looked through tariff inflation and inflation running above target and looking through the oil price shock would undermine the credibility of your commitment to the 2% target?
We have to do our analysis and think these things through carefully, but of course that's on everyone's mind. We're well aware of the history, but you don't want to overreact to that. You want to make the best judgment you can based on the facts. I don't think we're going to let it color our decision making more than is appropriate. It's more the thought that it's been 5 years, and we've actually had we had the tariff shock, we had the pandemic, and now we have an energy shock of some size and duration. We don't know what that's going to be, actually. And it's one of those things where it's a repeated set of things, and you worry that that's the kind of thing that can cause trouble for inflation expectations. And
Yeah, we're just stuck at 800.
so we worry a lot about that, and we are very strongly committed to doing what it takes to keep inflation expectations anchored at 2%. And I think it's important that we do that. Very important.
Nick.
Nick Tamaros, The Wall Street Journal. Chair Powell, you've described monetary policy as modestly restrictive. If the unemployment rate is roughly stable, inflation moving sideways in the high twos, with an ongoing overshoot in services and non-housing services, not just goods, and the economy doing fairly well as you just outlined, what gives you confidence that inflation returns to target over the next couple of years?
Okay. So I would say the rate is, you can characterize it as in the high end of neutral, or you can characterize it as perhaps mildly restrictive, even modestly restrictive. No one knows for sure, but it's in that range where it's somewhere around the borderline between restrictive and not. Remember that a big part of the disinflation we're looking for is just the runoff of when tariffs are put into place. Of course, what they do is they raise prices to some extent. To the extent those prices the tariffs are paid by consumers. On a
24,740, just imagine says it might. I mean, if we can break down, certainly.
8, 9, 10, 11 months.
Right now we're just stuck here, but yeah, it does kind of look like we might break lower.
The tariffs, which were put in place over the course of the middle part and later last year, we're waiting for that to go through the system so that goods inflation will return closer to what it's always been. I mean, it used to be, for many, many years, it was negative. And then, the year before tariffs came in, it was 0. And it's running at like 2% now. So, so that's kind of, goods inflation is running at 2%. So that's not coming from standard Phillips curve restrictive restrictive policy. It's coming from the runoff of a one-time thing. We also think it's important, though, to keep policy either mildly restrictive or close to that, but not too restrictive because of the weakness in the.
What is he saying? Nothing important. Nothing important.
We are balancing these two goals in a situation where the risks to the labor market are to the downside, which would call for
Talking about keeping unemployment low, trying to lower inflation while keeping the unemployment rate low, blah, 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 blah. Same shit.
rates, and the risks to inflation are to the upside, which would call for higher rates or not cutting anyway. So we're in a difficult situation, and we feel like our framework calls on us to balance the risks, and we feel like where we are now is just kind of on that borderline, the higher borderline of restrictive versus not restrictive. We feel like that's the right place to be.
Can I ask about core non-housing services, though? Because there are some people who think that it hasn't come down very much, if at all, over the past year. If wage growth has come down, if the labor market has loosened, why has non-housing services inflation maybe been slower to follow?
That's a good question. It's frustrating. Non-housing services they basically moved sideways for a year. They're at the same level, and we do expect that they will come down. But it's a bunch of idiosyncratic things. But at the same time, that is one of the things we should be seeing, because to your point, the labor market is clearly not a source of inflationary pressures, and that should really matter for non-housing services. But we're not seeing progress there. So we do, what we expect for next year is what we want to see for this year, rather, is continued progress on housing services finally seeing that, the goods inflation come back down because the one-time effects of tariffs are through, and then also get some help from non-housing services. That's what we'd like to see. But it's a good question.
Yeah, he's kind of a yap master. He's the yap meister. He's the yap meister.
Didn't see much of that last year.
And every time I pause the video, my audio goes out. What the fuck? Why is that?
Edward Lawrence with Fox Business. So in December, we saw employment
Can't pause the video without my Bluetooth, my headphones disconnecting.
numbers, PCE
There we go.
tick down overall.
It's really, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that that's clear at all, that one is more at risk than the other. So you can point to the unemployment rate being stable, and in a world where both supply and demand for workers have come down very, very sharply over the course of the past year due to immigration policy largely.
All right, NQ, you want to try to break the lows here?
Than job creation, for example. So, and the ratio is the unemployment rate, and it's been stable since September. So that tells you that. Inflation, you can. We're at 3.0% core. Inflation 2.8% headline.
We may break the lows here.
The 2%.
And if we do,
whatever it is.
next level of support is all the way down at 720.
Percentage point above 2% for some time, and that's a concern. We need to get back down to 2%.
This market feels very weak, very, very selling heavy. It's not as motivating to try to buy some of these dips as it used to be a couple months ago,
And if I may, what happens if there's no Federal Reserve Chairman confirmed on May 15th? Would you stay on?
So if my successor is not confirmed by the end of my term as chair, I would serve as chair pro tem until he is confirmed. That is what the law calls for. That's what we've done on several occasions, including involving me, and it's what we're going to do in this situation. And while I'm at it, on the question whether I will leave while the investigation is ongoing, I have no intention of leaving the board until the investigation is well and truly over, with transparency and finality. And I would refer you to the statement that was in the Fed's brief that you all have seen.
Oh boy.
On the question of whether I will then continue to serve as a governor after my term ends and after the investigation is over, I have not made that decision yet. And I will make that decision based on what I think is best for the institution and for the people we serve. Figuring you probably were going to set the dominoes off there, Edward. And I'm not going to have any more to say on those issues, by the way.
Thank you very much. Claire Jones from the Financial Times. People have drawn quite a few historical parallels with the current situation. We've seen oil price shocks in the past. Some people have said the first Gulf War and the Fed's response to that, where there was a focus on the growth risks, is the right parallel. To what extent?
Okay, we're looking at NQ on the daily, and we are just losing our attraction.
It's really hard to say until we see the situation.
It could have been good at some point if we held
That might be the right
some type of structure, but we didn't. We sold it all the way off again, and we are still respecting the range. For some reason, I kind of thought we might break it sooner and later, but maybe as long as the war is going on, just keep expecting this.
And it will depend a lot on what we can see in inflation expectations.
Maybe even a bigger sell-off if we break the lows of the range.
Follow up, if I may, just on the BLS report that was mentioned briefly there. It doesn't.
I don't
seem
see
from the
anything
projections
crazy
and
to
from the
jump
comments you've
at,
made
chat.
today about the unemployment rate and focusing on that your view on the labour market story, to a large part being a supply side story, has changed despite the quite negative number in February. Would that be the right take, and was there anyone else in the room who thought differently and that the February jobs report was cause for concern?
So I think you have to take the two together. In a way, the January report was a positive surprise, and the February report was a negative surprise. If you put them together, you get something in the middle, and I think.
All right, we got new low day here on NQ.
Realize there was a strike.
Ship my sell all the way to. Could get under 700s if it really wanted to, but I've kind of lost. Yeah, this is not bullish, and it's not going to be bullish. This looks horrific.
A degree of stability, but
I mean, this looks horrific.
Good number of people on the committee are concerned about is just
We just
the very, very low level of job creation.
This
If you-
market
if you
sucks, that's what.
adjust what has been the trend job creation over the past, let's say, 6 months, if you adjust that for what we think our staff
What's
thinks
crude
is
up
the-
to? Crude's still
the overstatement
crawling
due to
higher.
overcounting, effectively, there's zero net job creation in the private sector. But
Spain's
actually, that looks like that's
mother.
about what the economy needs in terms of
Who called
dealing with
750?
very,
Somebody
very
called.
low,
Yeah, there you go. Just
non-existent
imagine
really
called
growth
750.
in the labor force, which of course we've never had in our history. So you've got a sort of a zero employment growth equilibrium. Now that's balance, okay?
Yeah, this looks like this looks
You know,
horrible.
I would say it does have a feel of downside risk, and it's not kind of a really comfortable balance. So, you know, we look at that.
740 is very
we get
possible. Are
it,
you
and
kidding?
everybody
Yeah,
understands
100%.
the arithmetic, and
We might be
that's
well
fine.
under
You can say
740 here in a
the break-even
second.
is zero, but nonetheless, it's something we're watching carefully, and so and you know are concerned about. But ultimately, though,
This market feels like you can
argue
sell
that it's
through the
kind of
damn
consequence of
bottom of the earth
deliberate
here.
policy, which is really the changes to immigration. That's the biggest factor there, and but nonetheless, something we watch carefully.
Andrew.
Thanks, Chair Powell. The economy's experienced a series of supply shocks in the last few years, COVID, tariffs, 2 oil price shocks.
Order
Do
filled.
you think that is
We got
bad
into
luck
it
or
short
something
here.
changed
I
in
want to
the
see us
world
reject
that makes
800s.
supply
If we
shocks
get above
more
800s, I'm
common
probably
and does the central
not
bank need
interested
to
in it.
start taking account of the risk of supply shocks as a more common problem?
You know, we did go through a long period where the shocks were all demand shocks, and you know, so we've.
I
had
can
a
see
lot of
this on the
progress
hourly
in
getting down to
lots of supply
720s.
shocks in the last 4 or 5
It's a
years,
low
for
entry,
sure.
so I'm kind of trying to
But
play
it's
the
just a
momentum a
very
little bit.
different thing and a very much more difficult thing because it does immediately.
I'm not gonna
raise
overdo
the
it. If
question
if
of,
we don't respect this and
potentially
reject,
between the
I'll
two
just
parts
get
of our
get out of it.
mandate. But, you know,
Very simple.
Has the world changed? I mean, COVID
And I
is
won't
a
feel no
one-time
type of
thing,
way about it.
This energy supply shock is a one-time thing. It's not because of some broad tendency or anything, I don't think. And you know, the oil shock under with Ukraine was also a consequence of military action. So I don't know that the
Order filled.
I'll lock in a quick 300. If we're gonna get an immediate push, I'll lock it up.
You know, there's people have written that paper and that speech a number of times. A number of people have tried to make the case that is the case. And in fact, we have seen more supply shocks in the last.
I'll get
5
back
years
in if
than
we
we've
retrace
seen in
again,
many
but
years
that was a
before
quick
that.
immediate
It's a
move.
fact.
I'll take that.
Okay. You said last year that the Fed was reviewing its communication strategies, including the SEP, as part of its framework review. Whatever happened to that? And I have like 5 follow-ups to that, but you know, I guess, you know, what would you change about Fed communications if you?
Yeah,
had
this
time?
looks weak, man. This just looks
was
so
not much.
pathetic, especially on the daily.
And I'll tell you why. So
I imagine ES looks even worse.
we
It
looked carefully
does.
at many aspects of the SEP and of our communications. There weren't any ideas that had very broad support on the committee, and you don't want to make a change to your communications unless you have the committee behind that. So we didn't really make any changes on that. I had hoped that they had some things that I wanted to do, but they didn't attract broad support, and we'd already made all the changes we made to the framework. That was a critical thing. So we didn't. And, I wish we had been able to do some things, but we didn't. So maybe the next chair will take a look. I'm sure he will.
Michael McKee from Bloomberg Television and Radio. The minutes show in January
Bloomberg.
some members of the committee wanted to include a two-sided guidance on policy. Was that discussed today? And given the rise in the inflation expectations, how much support for a two-sided policy warning would there be?
So it did come
There
up
goes
today. The
740s.
policy that
Broke new
the
lows.
possibility, rather, that our next move might be an increase did come up at the meeting, as it did at the last meeting. The vast majority of participants.
I think he
don't
probably
see
goes to
that as
0
the
right
base
here, to be
case.
honest.
And of course, we don't take things off the table. But you correctly characterized.
Just kidding,
what
obviously.
was in the minutes that several participants indicated, and something very much like that conversation did happen. What was your
Doesn't look
second
good, though.
question now?
I was just one question there, but follow-up would be, there are a lot of goods besides oil that are trapped in the strait right now, and a lot of supply chains getting snarled. How much concern do you have about whether, if this becomes an inflation problem beyond just oil, whether there's anything you can do about it or would do about it, given the efficacies of monetary policy?
you know, you can worry about other commodities. You can worry about all of the ways that oil-related commodities go into manufacturing, that kind of thing. The truth is, it's completely out of our hands, and we just, like everybody else, we have to just wait and see what happens, and it'll come down to how long, you know, the current situation lasts, and then what are the effects on prices, and then how do consumers react and that kind of thing. Really, I wouldn't speculate in any way, and there's really not a lot we can do other than kind of watch and
Yeah,
see.
previous day's lows 728, right?
Afternoon, Chair Powell.
This daily candle looks like
With Bloomberg
throw
News.
up.
I wanted to ask you, you've said longer-term measures of inflation expectations reflect confidence that the Fed will get back to its 2% goal, but there are some colleagues of yours who have pointed to higher dispersion in household inflation expectations may be less sticky than in the past. I'm wondering if there was a discussion around that at this meeting across the committee, and what were the views of what is the state of inflation expectations and the risks from higher oil and gas prices.
So at this meeting, I mean, a number of people mentioned and staff briefed on short-term
This looks
expectations
horrible.
have moved up quite a lot for reasons we understand well. But long-term expectations, you know, you can always find one that's troubling or some aspect of one that's troubling, but ultimately, right through this whole period, the overwhelming majority of the things we look to, including markets, including surveys of, you know, of the public and also of forecasters, they've all been pretty solid on longer-term.
Shorting it this low feels a little dangerous,
right where
but
they need to be, consistent with
it doesn't
2%.
look good.
So that continues to be the case. We didn't have a lot of conversation about that. I think everyone does agree that you know, we'll be watching those extremely carefully as we see the effects of the price increases come through from the conflict.
And still on how the discussion went across the committee, before coming to this meeting, there were some members who were like discussing the risks of
Kept yesterday's low in tech? Yeah, for now. Shit.
At a time of where inflation remains
This
high.
thing's getting killed.
It doesn't seem that most members are penciling in a slowdown in growth.
No.
But has there been any discussion of the risks of stagflation at this point?
So people actually wrote up their growth forecast by a tenth, and I think that's probably to do with just growing confidence in productivity.
Sell the pullback.
But sorry,
Let's
your
see.
question was just
If there have been
Got an hour till it
discussions about
close.
the risk of stagflation,
stagflation.
scenario.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, there's tension between.
Gets
the
a
two
little tricky to
goals, right?
keep trying to play the trend when it gets this deep into the range.
So, and this is in a different situation. You know, when we use the term stagflation, I always have to point out that was a 1970s term at a time when unemployment was in double figures and inflation was really high and the misery index was super high. Add them together, you get the misery index. And that's not the case right now. We actually have unemployment really close to longer run normal, and we have inflation that's, you know, 1 percentage point.
Order
above that.
filled.
So
Try to play
calling
this
that
little breakout through
stagflation,
760s. We put in this
I
low
would reserve the term
for a second.
stagflation
We'll
for,
see if we can get
you know,
760s
a
up.
much more serious set of circumstances. That is not the situation we're in. What we have is some tension between the goals, and we're trying to manage our way through it. It's a very difficult situation, but it's nothing like what they faced.
We're
in
counter trend, so I don't want to hold
1970s and
too
that's-
long.
I
Giving
would
it a
reserve
chance to break
stagflation for that,
760.
the word for that
We're
period.
retesting it
It's just-
again. All right, I'm gonna try to.
Thanks much. Elizabeth Schulze with ABC News. President Trump says that oil prices and overall inflation will go down very rapidly as soon as the war ends. Do you agree with that?
I don't have a forecast on that. I
When
don't
we're
know.
thinking about the impact on American households,
That's
as
pathetic.
you know, they've been facing these higher
I should have
prices
just
for years,
taken it
most
off.
of them
That's a little
almost $1
pathetic.
increase in gas. How
I
worried
should have
are
just
you
taken
about
it off.
households, especially lower income families, being able to afford
I
these
don't really
price
see this
hikes?
holding.
And should people be bracing?
It was looking so good, and then like boom, it wicked, and then boom, this candle just drives
We don't know how
fucking
big
lower.
these
That
effects are gonna be, and I don't want to characterize them in any
tricky.
way.
It was.
Of
They made it
course,
tricky to read the price
we're already
action there.
seeing
We might be
gas
okay,
prices.
but
Gas prices are up almost $1 a gallon. We hope that isn't for a long period of time, and of course people will feel that, but I don't want to speculate about what that might mean, because honestly that would
We
sound
get
like
80s.
I have some idea of what's actually going to happen, and I don't think anybody really does. We're going to see how this works out, and I just would leave it at that.
Victoria.
Order filled.
Bow!
Hi, Victoria Guida.
Shimona!
I just wanted to ask.
We're still red.
Of the
We are
next
still
meeting,
red.
You know, how the Middle East war develops between now and then. How are you thinking about what might guide action at your next meeting?
Motherfuckers!
We have oil prices, you know.
That was a good little trade, but we still red though.
The entire time until the next meeting. Is that going to change your wait and see stance? Like what would
Bang! I think we got out pretty good too. I got out right as soon as we jumped through 80s. Yeah, I got out at 83. It's not bad.
I mean, you know, we always say we're going to learn more by the next meeting, and usually we do, but in this case we're going to learn a lot, because we're going to learn 6 weeks to the day till the next meeting, and you know, we're going to see whether what happens is it's going to be very.
This was a weird spot to take a buy on it, I'm not going to lie. The daily still looks like hell. If this doesn't get a significant rejection here and like close above 870, it just feels still really weak. Excuse me. What's good, Fade? Fade, you just missed a nice little scalp trade, bro, if you want to rewind it a little bit.
I just want to just remember that we
Not but about 25, 30 seconds ago. That was a clean trade there.
We're going to see.
So is it a matter of you don't know how the situation itself
We only have 14 likes. Okay, I'm in extreme.
even if things
God bless.
as they are, the economy could still remain relatively
No, seriously. Let's get 100 likes, chat. Get it going.
No, I mean, the U.S. economy has just, you know.
I think I want to start trading one mini a little bit more, and then because it's just so much easier to scale, like one mini, 2 mini, 3 mini, 4 instead of. Because I can only do 10 micros. That's my max.
Close to 100% of economists.
That's my
called
max.
for a recession, which didn't happen. In fact, 2023 was a really strong year. So.
The ear headphones, another go. No, honestly, I can still. Wow, this is running. I should have held. Crap. I don't really. I don't know. It's hard for me to trust, so I don't mind taking profit. I tried to hold a position like this earlier, man, and it kicked my butt.
I don't know what's going to happen in the Middle East. I wouldn't want to speculate.
Did y'all see this?
Hi, Chair Powell. Thanks for taking our questions. What makes you
This was
so
literally
certain
an hour and a half ago.
Tariff-related price increases will be a one-time effect? I don't think we've seen you since the Supreme Court tariff decision, and it's pretty clear that none of us know what the extent of the tariff shock will be as the administration moves to replace some of the tariffs that were overturned. So I suppose I'm curious, what would make you question this certainty that tariffs are
I got
gonna be a
bottom
one-time
ticked,
price
bro.
effect?
I got bottom ticked, man. You have no idea. You know how rough that is? So whenever shit like that happens, it becomes very hard to trust that the market's going to keep going.
Increase in the price of a good, right? And what inflation is.
Fresh said, I'm long here. I'll probably get stopped at break even. I like the preemptive, like already assuming that this dog crap market's probably going to take you out break even, and you're just accepting it. It's a good mindset.
Tariffs should be in theory, unless they cause people to start expecting.
All right, let's get the charts
still
up.
more tariffs the next year and still more tariffs the next year. They should be a classic one-time thing. People say the same thing traditionally about an energy price spike, because traditionally.
See, what if it misses your TP by one tick? But I never use a hard TP. Like if I'm interested in taking it off, like generally at this level, I'm not gonna let it like. If it rejects, I'm just cutting it. I'm getting out of that biatch. I don't think I can emotionally handle that. Like seeing a hard order and like sticking to it and like not. I'd rather just mark it out around that level. But yeah, I feel that would suck.
So I think we have to be humble about knowing how long.
All right, NQ. I mean, you need to do something pretty significant to not close really freaking bearish today. You got about an hour to do it. What can you do?
Just an estimate, because there wasn't a real history, and then they've built based on the history that they're seeing of.
I feel like we just kind of range around the lows.
They can now have an arc, and for all the.
Okay, Chad. If we get 150 likes, we're coming back. We're gonna go green. We're gonna go green.
We'll see tariff inflation coming down, not prices, but you won't see further increases, and we should start seeing that more and more in the middle parts of the year. We do expect that. Now, you're also right, though, that the level of tariffs came down fairly meaningfully in the wake of the court decision. But the administration said they're going to get that rate right back up to where it was. So, and we assume that they'll do that over time. So that's how we think about it.
What happened to gold? Gold got smashed.
Thank you. Chris Rugaber at Associated Press. I wanted
Right now?
You talked about the shortcomings of the SCP in this environment.
Oh, wow.
I wanted to ask about, or throw in an additional thing,
Gold
which is the
got
fact that it is something
smashed.
before transition. Is there still some value?
I wonder if we hold here into the close, though. You got about an hour.
Officials are thinking,
I think if you didn't catch that move, it's probably not worth chasing down here.
does that
That's
even
crazy,
impact
though.
Your successor in any way? Well, just in terms of having a whole committee expressing its views, is that something that locks them in for the rest of the year?
No. We never. The SEP is never. People are more than happy to change their SEP dots. They're no way bound by them. It's your opinion at a moment in time, which can change based on events. Sometimes very quickly. So it never locks people in. People are more than happy to be proven wrong in either direction, and so I just think we do it. And I mentioned this was a time when it's very hard to do it. During the pandemic, we actually took one meeting off, I think, but we don't like to do that just because it's hard to do. We should just keep doing it. But I just would say for this one, though, I think it's even more than usual good to take the forecast with a grain of salt, because subject to just very high levels of uncertainty.
Hi, Chair Powell. Brian Chung with NBC News. So you mentioned at the beginning of this conversation that you're well aware of the history of inflation running above target. It seems like that might be what's underpinning the affordability problem that we're hearing a lot about on Main Street. Are there any signs to you that that's impacting?
It's a great haircut. Y'all think I could rock that haircut?
Especially given that they're a big driver of overall economic.
With the side part here, shave it down, comb it over.
All about, but I'll tell you what I think and what we see in surveys, and that is, people.
Where's your OG
price
headphones?
increases all around the world, by the way, everywhere in countries like the United States had basically the same kind of thing. It was a global inflation coming out of the pandemic, and everywhere people are feeling like real wages have been going up in the United States now for
This piece of shit market's still selling off.
But people are not feeling good about it yet, and it will take some years of positive real earning gains for people to feel good again, we think. But you're right. But when you talk to people, they do feel squeezed, and there are areas where prices are still going up, like insurance. Various different kinds of insurance are getting more and more expensive, and that's just catching up really from inflationary pressures that take a while to get to into the price. So we take it very seriously. We don't dismiss it at all. It's a very real thing from the standpoint.
I think we just immediately break the lows, or put in an attempt to kind of hold here.
What it does for us is, makes us even more committed, if that's possible, to getting inflation back to 2% on a sustained basis.
How does the Fed's independence play into the ability to address affordability?
Well, independence is what allows us to do our jobs, and stable prices is half of our mandate. It's one of our two mandates, maximum employment being the other. I mean,
gold's kind of recovering. I wouldn't
economy that looks
touch
anything
it.
like the United States anywhere in the world, in a market economy, in a democracy, and you'll see, pretty much central bank independence that looks a lot like, in some cases, stronger than what we have. But it's critical that we have that, so that we can do the things when we need to do them to preserve price stability. And it's an accepted standard practice, and I think has a lot of support, certainly in Congress, which is where our oversight is in Congress. And you see that among Democrats and Republicans in the House and the Senate.
Hi, Chair Powell. Richard Escobedo at CBS News. Thanks for doing this. Two questions. One, how high would oil prices and broader inflation have to go, and for how long, for the committee to consider hiking rates? And then secondly, diesel prices are rising faster than gas prices. How concerned are you that the increase in diesel might drive up food and goods prices and lead to broader inflation?
Yeah, I'm not going to give you an example or a specific answer on the first question. You know, we're prepared to do what needs to be done, but I wouldn't want to hypothesize about what that might be.
Order
in terms
filled.
Of diesel prices,
All right, I'm going to try to scalp this back into session lows. Not seeing a lot of follow through off that bounce 50s.
And whether or not it will
See if we can
drive
get
up,
there.
you know, the cost of food and other goods that really rely
It is
on
coming
to-
closer to the close. I think if we see some profit, we should take some profit.
Diesel prices, because that's transportation of food and things like that. There are just lots of ways that oil and derivatives of oil get into the production and transportation of many things. So, and those, there are big effects in headline inflation, but things like that leak into core as well. And the effects may not be as big, but they're quite real and they're material. So we are aware of that and we're watching it, but you know, we're right at the beginning of this, and we don't know how big we just don't know how big this will be and how long it lasts. You know, it may or may not be something that really makes a big imprint on the U.S. economy. We're just going to have to wait and see.
Thank you.
Order filled.
We'll see if I can get that same entry again.
Thanks very much.
Try to get short again.
Stare into the future for a little bit. I was looking at the longer run bits of the SEP. I
Told you we're getting green, bruh.
estimate had been revised up a good chunk.
We getting green.
And the kind of long-term Fed funds rate as well. It'd be great just to hear, is that AI productivity or what's going on there exactly?
Yeah, I think it's just productivity. You know, we actually started seeing meaningfully higher productivity.
NQ looks good. It's holding. I don't like it.
4 years ago, 5 years ago, and that's not because
I think it's looking a little bit weak.
We won't know for years what it's really due to, but it could be due to the kind of things that people did during the pandemic to.
I just don't know how much follow through we're going to get in the last hour here.
Because there was an incredible labor shortage, but I think economic forecasters are very skeptical of periods of high productivity because they're so rare and they're often revised away. And for many of us, I never thought I'd see this many years of really high productivity, and by the way, expect it to continue. And we haven't really started to see the effects of.
Does anybody dare to try to buy this at session lows? Does anybody dare?
It's quite unusual.
Previous day lows are at 728. Still haven't taken those yet.
It allows incomes to rise over time. And so it's a great thing. Was that your question?
Damn, I should have held my short. This shit keeps happening where I get out and then it moves. But if I stay in, I know it's just going to range. Isn't that crazy, man? I'm telling you. Should have sold. I was in a sell, but I took my profit. It's just frustrating how as soon as I get out, we go. And then as soon as I don't get out, we range.
And in particular, if you're talking about AI,
you know.
generative AI. So remember, in the short term, what's happening is
I know y'all know that feeling.
Data centers everywhere, and that's actually putting pressure on all kinds of goods and services that go into building these things. So that's actually probably pushing inflation up at the margin. In addition, it probably raises the neutral rate. So in the near term, you're not looking at something that would immediately call for lower rates or that would be lowering inflation. Over time, though, sure, it can be if it's expanding potential outcomes.
Let's get a decent little bounce here. I wonder if we hold for a second.
Then it actually can be. But I think it's an empirical question because it's really what is the demand
So
going faster
heavy,
or
so
slower
heavy.
than the supply side.
Buy it while it's cheap.
We just don't know
What if it
that-
stays
that
cheap
answer
all day?
is ante going in. We'll just have to wait and see. Thank you very much.
Is he done? What a joker. That's an hour of my life I'll never get back. You just yapped the whole time. The entire time. All right, we've got 40 minutes till the close. Chat, can we get to 100 likes before the end of the stream? Can we get to 100 likes before the end of the stream? Let's go, let's go, let's go. We're about to lock in. We are about to lock in, bro. Lock in, lock in, lock in, lock in. We are about to get scalpy. This looks horrible. Previous day lows are at 728. Is there a scalp here through the lows? Through the lows. Feels scary to chase it this low, but this just looks so bearish. Low day right here, dude. Right here. We just took it. Previous day lows at 728. Let's lock in collectively. Let's get 100 likes, chat. Come on, come on, come on, come on. I'm feeling scalpy. Hold on a second. Let me cook. This 5-minute just opened up. I could see us pulling back into the range here a little bit, but I do expect more downside. We're right at yesterday's lows. We're not really seeing strong buying off this level. Can we just slip it? Can we just slip under it? Let's see. Let me try to see if we can just slip under this level real quick. I'll stop it out if we run back to 50s. I just want to slip under the 30s. Just slip under. I just want to slip under. I just want to slip under. I just want to slip under there. I just want to slip under there. I'm just trying to slip under there. I'm just trying to slip under there. Can we not fucking break 720s? I'm not taking a fucking loss on that. That's insane. Back low, back low, back low, back low. Break 20s, baby. Break 20s, baby. Break 20s, baby. Break 20s, baby. Come on. Come on. Break that. We're holding it. We're holding it. I don't believe my very eyes. Bro, I don't believe my very eyes. That's the follow through we get. Nah, bro. Nah, bro. What the fuck is that follow through? All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Fine. 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 Why was I expecting a little bit more of a cliff dive on the break of yesterday's lows? I wonder if we get a retest then go. I cannot believe that. I don't want to, bro, I don't know. I feel like I've gotten into so many trades and I've been fortunate enough to get, yeah, what the fuck. I don't know, man. I'm just rethinking everything in my whole life. Rethinking my entire life here. I don't know. This shit happens too much. There's got to be something to this, bro. With the damn fucking retest. Does ES do this dirty kind of shit? Let me compare, because I will make the switch. Where, okay, what we, I don't, like, bro. It's dirty. It plays very dirty, this market. Dirty ass. Ugh. I just want to live peacefully, bro. I just want to take my trade, get break even, and let it ride. But NQ just won't allow it. NQ just will not allow it. It is horrendous, man. This is too low to start chasing short now. Like, actually, does ES do that kind of shit? Because I will go trade ES. Okay, whatever this song is needs to get changed. This is horrible. Would ES, if I got into the ES, would it have wicked me out? Let me look at side by side. That way I can figure out which one would have done me dirty. Okay, so look, we're looking at. I mean, yeah, I guess ES would have done the same. It's just annoying. Gold doesn't do that bullshit. I will say that to gold. It doesn't do that kind of shit. If it's going to break, it kind of commits to it a little bit, which is nice. NQ is like, yeah, I'm going to break, retest, break, retest, break, retest. Wick you out. Then actually break. So annoying, man. Who has the cojones to go long here on NQ? Not me. This just looks horrific, guys. Horrific. May go down the month. I'm feeling that like daily. We're well within the lows on the daily. This just looks so bad. So bad. I don't really see any bounce from here, to be honest. I think we just continue melting into the lows on the daily range. How do y'all get rid of this, dude? Like this stuff. I don't need all this stuff. Get rid of that. I cannot believe we couldn't take. It's just. Dude, this looks so weak. All right, we got 30 minutes to the close. I have really no motive to try to buy this market. I mean, it's showing us nothing but bearish price action. Couldn't hold any of this move. Couldn't hold. I mean, it's very extended, yes, but this actually looks horrendous. It just looks so bearish. Are we in agreement? Let's see if we can get some here. I'm short. I'll cut it if we bounce too hard. I'll cut it out. I want to see if we can break 700s in the short term here. Maybe if we do break 700, we can get some volume. Not looking to get caught in a break to the upside, though. We're going to go for 720s. I'll give the 20s a chance to reject. I think we'd have a pretty good chance of rejecting 720s on a retest. It's as if the market knows I get short, and then we run to 725, 730s. What are we doing? If we're going to form a reversal here, I'll have to cut it and just look for a re-entry, I guess. And we're getting closer to the close. I wouldn't be too surprised to see the markets kind of level out here. Maybe the follow-through starts to slow down a little bit. That was a dog shit entry, though, apparently. Nice rejection at 730. All right, we're looking at We might get a nice little break in our 700s here. Another nice rejection of 730. All right, don't make it difficult. We get back to 728, it's going to make me start questioning how I want to manage this. Probably just end up cutting it. I could see us setting a bit of a range here. We do have 30 minutes until the close. We don't have to continue selling off here. We could start to slow down a little bit. Don't love it. Rejecting it again. We need 730s to hold here. Dude, we just holding 720s now. Ugh. The risk I took a little bit trying to get in so low, so late into the session. I still think we'll get it, but pretty crappy entry in hindsight. $720's trying to hold on for dear life. Still looks good. It does. The entry is pretty bad though, but I mean, in hindsight, if I would have assumed a jump to 730, probably would have gotten in there instead. Could have made a better effort to try to get a better entry, I guess. For sure, definitely. All right, pushing back to 730s. I think I'm gonna have to cut this. We might have a short-term rally on our hands. Pretty shitty entry, but still manageable. That was a FOMO entry. I'm not gonna lie, that was a FOMO entry. Saw a shit ton of selling. Had a lot of conviction we were gonna keep selling. Just got short. No real game plan behind that. I could have done a lot better on that one. That was a pretty crappy trade. Just assumed we were going to keep seeing the pattern that we were seeing, which is just continued downside. Didn't really consider the consequence of a bounce, but that's my fault. Not everyone's perfect. That was my fault. And I still think D-money, dude, good luck on that one. I don't see it. I still think it's short. I think we can get a different entry now. I'll probably try to get short again. Just gonna try to get a different entry now. You're perfect? Okay. It's a good mentality. Could be. All right. See if we get death by 1,000 cuts, or if this is a true rejection. Really clean selling again. We need 30s to reject. Dude, I just bottom ticking. Like without fail, bottom ticking, bro. I mean, literally to the tick. Good lord. Just insane, bro. So bad. So bad. Probably just raining till close. Yeah, I'm starting to consider that. I still think we'll see under 700s, but that entry is god awful. Oh, it's such a bad entry. I mean, such a bad entry. Got another 10-point rejection off the 40s. Looks good. I don't see a rally here, but I could be totally wrong. I don't see a rally here at all. At all. These breakouts above 730, 740s keep getting rejected. Looks good. See if we can break 700 here. Yeah, we could get caught in a bit of a choppier range. That would be the probably worst case scenario. I mean, trend off of this level, it could. Anything can happen, right? But a range here that kind of teases some follow through and doesn't get it would fucking suck. That's where it becomes tricky, because like you gotta be disciplined enough not to try it too much if it's not giving you the follow through. I think we see below 700s here in the next couple of minutes. We just keep rejecting, not seeing strong buying off this level. If I'm gonna add into this, I'm kind of committing a little bit that we're gonna get the break here. This 5-minute, I guess, could leave a wick and bullshit a little bit higher, I suppose. I feel like I've seen that pattern before. Yep, 20 minutes till close. Current lows are at 710. Let me try to time the scaling into this trade a little bit. I need to see some follow through here, man. Can we get under 710, please? Just a lot of hesitation. Come on, let's get like a clean break, bro. These breaks have been disgustingly weak. Like we break by 5 points and immediately retest. Let's flush to like 690, 680s here. 710s might be able to just break 700s. Let's get it. Do my best to try to exit. See that's the shit. That's the shit, bro, right there with the 707 and then we bounce. Like what? Just break the low. See, now we bounce too hard. I gotta get out. All right, there's a nice retest. Just break it, brother. Break it. Break it with some damn purpose. I'll allow a retest of like mid 720s, but I just don't want to see much. Oh, I don't like that fucking I don't like that wick off the. I'm trying to time the breakdown here. I need full commitment to a break, which is kind of a double-edged sword sometimes. I'm kind of forcing a break right here, and it's just slow and choppy. Yeah, this isn't. This is really, really bad breakout price action. I feel like I'll get taken out of this trade. All done. All done. Cannot trade that. All done. That's my session. I'm gonna end it down 700. Just cannot trade that, bro. Just simply put, just can't trade that bullshit, right? Because it's bullshit. we cannot break by 4 points and then you just can't. That's horrible breakout price action. It's untradeable. It's untradeable. So I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop there. These retests are just so brutal, bro. Like, just break the fucking level. I'm thinking maybe moving to ES, because I feel like ES doesn't give you such a brutal retest. We'll just take the $700 L. I'll deal with it. Live to fight another day. Could be worse, right? Like, now it's going. It's just, I don't know, man. Then it's like I don't know what it is, bro. It's quite literally the shit. Like, this is my stop loss. How are we getting top ticked on the stop loss right before the move? That happened earlier too. That happened earlier to the tick. Oh my goodness. It's like right at, it's so specific. It's so specific, bro. So specific. I mean, that was literally the stop was what? 7:15.25 we bought to cover 3. 7:16.25 is the top tick. 1 point. That's happened multiple times today to me. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. Somebody said you're selling the low. No such thing as selling the low, bro. Selling the low is crazy to say. I don't know. I don't know what to do now. There you go. This is a dump that I was looking for. 80s. I just know that I've gotten stopped out by a point twice today for really big trades. And it's going to put me on tilt, and I don't want to go on tilt with 20 minutes left. It is frustrating, though, I'll tell you that much. What was your take profit? Probably just this right here. I probably would be scaling out right now as we speak if I was still in it. I'm gonna just take the $700 loss. Nothing wrong. It's good. It's good to take it. Just take a loss, bro. It's good. Sometimes it's good for you. Just accept it. This might be the most tilt-inducing session I've ever traded that hasn't put me on. I mean, I don't think I was on tilt, but I'm very close to being on tilt. And it's just, man, it's just the way it's taking me out before the big move is insane. Like 1 point. At 1,800 on a new funded. Lost the account trying to buy the dip. Sorry to hear that, bro. Sorry to hear that, bro. I cannot believe how we're getting taken out of this market by 1 point, bro. You know what sucks too? Sometimes you can go into like carryover tilt like into the next session. I'm gonna have to try my best not to be on tilt when the markets open up tonight. I'm gonna need to just be patient, you know, just be patient, but I've never been taken out of the market by 1 point, then we get just the cleanest move right after so many times. I've never dealt with it this much. Yeah, I'll be live tonight. What I will say though, this is good news. This is like about the only good news today. I mean, I'll take a $700 loss. That's recoverable. It's fine. Once again, we started stream. I was down 1,300, so we made comeback. It's just we had huge trades, bro. Huge trades that got top ticked before it went. Like, ugh, that's what's annoying. But I'll be fine. It's not a big deal. I just need to not go on tilt tonight. That's all. Which I won't. I'm a grown up. I'm a big boy. I'll be fine. Just need to debrief and maybe go do a workout or something. But look, on another note, I'll take a $700 loss. Not a big deal. Could be worse. I could keep over trading, try to use the same size I was using, which I like the size I was using. And I was scaling into it, which is fine. But then also at the same time, y'all saw all the entries we took. We got into green and then went break even, and it was just management. What could happen is I keep rolling that dice, keep trying to take entries. Eventually, one of them is going to go to drawdown. I'm going to have to cut it because I don't like what I'm seeing, and it's just going to be red trade and then snowball effect. So $700 loss is not that bad. On another note, this is good news. I don't love the accounts that I did pass, but I passed the 2 MyFunded Futures Rapid 150Ks, which have the intraday drawdown, but they're passed, bro. They're passed. No activation fees, so I'm going to activate those tonight. So that's good. I have funded accounts again. 2 of them. TPTs, I mean, these are like right at the finish line, a lot of these. These Lucids, I only have 4. I can actually get another one. But these Lucids are $1,000 away. $1,000 away. And what's cool about it is, man, I don't have to rush them. I don't have to rush them because I could pass them tonight. I could get the extra $1,000 and pass them tonight. And then I could go activate them tonight. As far as I'm aware, I can go activate them tonight after I pass them. So if I get $1,000 tonight, we'll go activate those. And then I'll have four more fundeds tonight. So that'd be 6 fundeds. And then the TPT is about 2K away from the profit target. And then the alpha, this alpha account, I made 3K on it, but I'm only up to 151.84 because this thing was about, I shit you not, $500 away from its total loss limit. So I've been digging this thing out of the grave. In fact, the day before yesterday was like a $2,000 day on this account, but it was pretty much at like 145. I didn't even know I had it. I like went and checked and I was like, oh, I have an eval that's still active on alpha. And I went and checked, the drawdown was like, you have $500 to draw down. I was like, okay, let me do my best, you know? So we're on the fast track. We definitely have 2 locked in funded accounts now. And then it's very likely that if we don't do anything stupid, we may have 4 more Lucid funded. So we might have 6 fundeds by tonight if everything goes good. So that's that. Oh, that's that. You know, not so bad. Today could have been a way better day, but I'm not sweating it, man. I could have caught that short. Could have caught a 100-point long that I was trying to take earlier with a really big size. A couple of things that could have happened, but they didn't happen, which is fine. Not a big deal. Let's watch this close. 10 minutes to the close. Ooh, get some volatility in here. Let's pull up the 5-minute now. I would be surprised to see a crazy bounce, but don't let what I'm saying, interpret, don't, what I mean. Once again, this daily candle just looks horrible. We'll see what happens. Anything, the close is crazy. Could have been worse. Yeah, it could have been worse. I could have blown the evals. I could have hit my loss limit. I could have done a lot worse. Hey, girl. Did you film your thing? Yeah. Oh, you did? No, I am. Oh, okay, nice. I made like a short version for TikTok. Okay, good. Very good. Oh, crude with a, I mean, just finishing it up. I mean, crude, come on. Crude is looking super strong here into the close. I'm sure that has a lot to do with the NQ sell-off. Crude, I mean, just beautiful. 94.50 up to 98 again. Are we like finding kind of a range to trade, or is this like still trying to form a trend to the upside and break levels higher, like this 102 level? I mean, that's a really aggressive bounce for sure. I wonder if we see 100 tonight on crude. Who's going to be in tonight's stream, chat? Let me know. Also, let's get to 100 likes, guys. I cooked myself today, activated my 100k Lucid Flex, fun of being up 1.1, but then wanting more for my buffer and blew it. Big low after a previously good month. Yeah, man. I mean, at least you got to pay out. It's tough. It's tough, man. It is a tough market. Huh? I remember seeing them somewhere, for sure. Why do I feel like they're in the restroom? Yeah. Yeah, I feel like they're in the restroom. Everybody's gonna be in tonight? Okay, tonight will be good, bro. Tonight we're gonna hit it tonight. I like how the markets are setting up for this overnight session because we've got NQ, possibly more downside on NQ tonight. If I say if, but even if not, if crude can get a little bit of follow through the upside, I think NQ can continue lower as well, especially if crude finds some strength tonight. But NQ is once again just still respecting this range. God, I mean, just so I don't know. I do not know when we're going to be out of this range, but I imagine we're not in a hurry to get out of it as long as we're in this war and everything's crazy. So we'll see. We'll see if NQ keeps selling off tonight. I'm definitely going to watch crude with this. This is a really aggressive bounce right back to this session highs here. So those are the two big ones. Got 250k accounts to 50% as well. Nice, bro. Got it. On a 50k Apex, should I trade mini or micro? I would say if you're trying to pass it, one mini. If you're in a funded level, you should be just trading the micros. But once again, those Apex accounts have daily loss limits. So if you're running a mini, you'll probably hit it pretty quick. I wouldn't suggest that. Did you find it? No. Really? I don't know where they are. I saw it. I definitely saw it somewhere. Wait. Is it over there on the TV stand? Yeah. Yeah? Are they charged? They should be. Okay. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. This might be a pretty crazy close, dude. Should we try to do chat, should we try to pass like a Hold on a second. Because I kind of want to take, I don't know. If we did anything, it'd be an eval. I kind of want to try to pass an eval, chatters. Or not pass one, but should we try to take a trade like at the end of the day on a TPT? Because I know TPT you can trade up until 4. Up until an hour after the actual close of the New York session. Give me 1 sec. Get another MyFunded Futures. I'm not gonna do it. I want to take a trade right now. I think MyFunded Futures closes your trades out at like 310. I do like me some MyFunded Futures. Hopefully we have good luck on the hopefully we have good luck on those rapids. Top Step having a discount again. Nice. Maybe go scoop that up. All right, I got a TPT account here. I don't mind trying to do a little scalpy scalp. Maybe we can get like $3,000 here on this eval. Is the screen too bright? My apologies, guys. I would be careful. We'll be careful. We'll try to be careful. As careful as you can be in the market. Peyton's trolling. Hey guys, before we end the stream, can we get to 100 likes? We need 30 likes. Can we get 30 likes, chat? We got to end it with 100. We got to end it with 100. We're going to try to pass this TPT account. What's the best thing to possibly trade? There's a little pullback on crude here. NQ's into new lows. Why do I feel like it's just going to keep selling all the way into the close? Yeah, NQ's still dumping. Into the 50s. What a great trade that would have been. I mean, you guys realize we got short at 715. You know what I mean? With 3 minis, mind you, and I would have just rode it break even. In fact, no, truthfully, I probably would have got out of most right here. I probably would have been fully out of this trade. But still, you know what I mean? Still. Just like, come on. I don't know if I trust to buy here. This thing is right back into the lows. All right, let's get 100 likes. We're gonna try to get this TPT eval cooking here. This feels sketchy. You think there's any buying at all into the close? I don't see it. But it's also really hard to short it this low. All right, we close in about 20 seconds. Yeah, maybe I should have gotten into this little bounce. I don't really trust it. You were short right from the open? Oh, dude. That's brutal. That's so brutal. All right, market's closed. We closed. The lows were at 640s. Now we're in 660s. I wonder if we just like I don't know. Do we? I'm watching this here. I was thinking about trying to get short for a second. What the fuck? Dude, it just wicked up to 690s, by the way, mind you. Whoa. All right, we're short, bro. Come on, roll it in, roll it in. It kind of rejected 690s pretty well. All the way left a great wick there. Can we flip this candle red under 60s? Come on, chat, light me up. Come on, bro. Come on, come on. Give me the follow through. Give me the follow through at 40s. We added because we need the follow through. Oh shit. We're drying up. We're drying up. We're drying up. I was trying to play the momentum all the way down, bro. Ooh. I was trying to play this just really directional. Leave that wick and then just flush. But now we're pulling back in. We might be okay, but maybe a bad ad in hindsight. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Not good. Not good. We're pulling back into the wick, damn it. And I'm left here with a bad entry. 10's pretty aggressive, I'm not gonna lie. 10 is pretty aggressive. We need 4,500 right here. Adding again feels insane. Come on, break 50s. I feel like we're gonna get chopped up, dude. We're not getting the break under the 40s. Oh no, we might get chopped up. I feel like I can't. Oh boy. Oh boy. I needed to see the break of 40s. We didn't get it. We might be cooked, bro. We might be okay, bro. We might be okay, bro. We might be okay. Give me the flusher. Under 40s, baby. Come on. We didn't close this week for no reason. Let me get the flush. Let me get the flush. Nothing like going sideways on my entry. We might pop six. Oh, we might be cooked, bro. I don't like 60s here. Oh boy. 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 I'm just gonna cut it, bro. Let's reassess. We have a little bit of drawdown. We just started chopping too much. I think it's a good cut. That entry, yeah, well. Could have been better for sure. We have like not a lot of drawdown left. Where's the follow through when you need it, man? Damn. I just don't trust these 60s. I feel like And now we go. I don't know, man. I don't have enough drawdown to mess around. We got to be precise. How much do you have left? We're at 147,400. I think I have 2,000 left. I feel like obviously I'm bearish, but I feel like we could pop 60s here for some reason. It's a pretty low entry. We're back in. We need it. 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 Break 50s. We need the break of 50s. Desperately need the break of 50s. Just go. Just go all the way, bro. Go all the way, bro. Go all the way. Go all the way. Session lows. We close at 640s. Go all the way. 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 Dude, sniper. Literally MW2 intervention. High rise. On the crane, bro. Give me that shit. That's halfway. Bro, that's more or less halfway. 153,750. I mean, what are we? A couple $100. Come on. Eval sniper. On another note, this looks horrible for NQ. It's all fun and games until like this actually does look horrible for NQ. How close are we getting to the lows of the daily range? Holy crap. Yeah, we dug that eval out of the grave. We dug that eval out of the grave. Yeah, NQ just looks horrible. What is crude doing? Why do I feel like crude is currently above 99? I'm just taking a wild guess. No, 98. Okay. Yeah, NQ just looks. I mean, this looks really bad. Really bad. I think that was a crazy trade, and well, I appreciate it. It was just an eval trade, though. I mean, obviously, much harder to replicate that in an account that is worth a damn. Chat, did we get 100 likes for half passing the eval? Did we get 100 likes for half passing the eval? Let's get it. Let's get it. We need 12 more likes. 12 more likes. See you later when you stream. Make sure you liked it, zombie. Yeah, I'll see you tonight, bro. We will see y'all tonight. That was clean. I mean, I could get a little closer to passing, but I don't see the need. I mean, it still takes 5 days regardless, so. Dude, we're getting funded again. We're getting funded again. Can you believe it? What a day. What a shit day. Like, what a shit day for the markets. Really bad. Really bad. This is what's brutal, man. It's just how much this thing rips just to go all... Like, it's great for these range traders that have the cojones to short this. Right? But it's... I mean, it's... I'm not good at that. I'm not good at, like... Yeah, I don't know. I'm not good at, like, just trusting, like... Yeah, let's get short right here. I just can't do it. I gotta follow what I'm seeing on the strength. But having said that, we are in a brutal range. And it is punishing. It's punishing. When's the next stream? I'll be live tonight at 7 Central in about 4 hours. Maybe a little bit before that. Gonna work on some videos in the meantime. It's better to like the YouTube button. Yeah, this market is just tough, man. I was looking for long opportunities a lot today, and so for the fact that I'm only down 700 is admirable. It's annoying that we got short all the way up here and got taken out right before a 100-point sell-off, but oh well, could be a lot worse. The way I traded today, just kind of really being aggressive and not taking the greatest entries and being somewhat wrong about the direction sometimes, could have been really bad, but also the trades that could have worked out could have been really, really good. And I think I'm just grateful to be like just slightly red. All right, guys, did we get 100? Let's get two. Let's end it with 2 more likes, chat. Maybe I'll try to get some prop firm giveaways for tonight, but I'd have to reach out to some prop firms. What's good, Bugs? Came right at the end, bro. How you doing? Stayed flat? Nice. Good day to stay flat, I think. Yeah, that was a fun little way to end the stream though, man. So get some likes in here for that. That was a good way to end it. That was a good way to end it. I mean, we got short literally. I think we top ticked. What did we do? I think we got, I don't know. We caught something good. I think we caught literally, yeah. We didn't have enough drawdown, so that was just good. What's good? What's good? All right, guys. I think I'm out of here. I'm going to go work on some stuff. Appreciate y'all. Oops, sorry about that. Appreciate y'all, man. Yeah, I'm going to go I'm going to try to work on a YouTube video tonight. So right now when I get off for like trading reversals, stuff like that. All right, guys, I'll be live tonight, 7 Central. Be there in a couple hours. I will see y'all tonight, and we'll go big, man. All right, God bless y'all.